Greetings, Dragon Knights over there on YouTube. Ballasar4Dragon here, bringing you a World of Warcraft video discussing over the pre-patch that's coming out this coming Tuesday. And just going to go over what to expect once you get into the game on Tuesday after the servers go live, of course. This video I'm only going to be discussing as far as the islands, the general certain class changes that is on the World of Warcraft website. I'll put that link down in the description below for all of you to check out. The classes I will be discussing over will happen as far as on Thursday once I am able to record again, and I will go through as far as over the classes each individual time, starting with whatever's on the list first and kind of discussing as far as the changes, if I feel like they're good changes, bad changes. I am not going to be the type of person that's going to say this is going to be the best DPS class, tank class, healer, and whatnot for the pre-patch and into the expansion. I am not a mythic hardcore raider, let alone mythic plus pusher. I just do things for fun as I play this game with my wife, and we just, run things in our guild the way that we enjoy playing the game, which is very casual and laid back. To start things off, I'm going to do a reaction video here, just kind of hearing as far as, the survival guide that Blizzard has came out with, going over a little brief as far as the changes and what to expect in the game. With further ado, let's go ahead and watch this video, and then I'll throw in some key inputs and then go in as far as the changes. So here we go. That.
Welcome to the World of Warcraft Survival Guide for the Shadowlands Pre-expansion patch, coming out later this year. In this video, we'll take a look at upcoming features, including class changes, new character customization options, and a pre-expansion event that will have you facing off against the Scourge. We'll also give you a heads up about what content is going away once the pre-expansion patch goes live, so you can add them to your collection before time runs out. One of the first things you'll notice when you log in are the new abilities and talents for your character, along with the return of several classic abilities removed in previous expansions. In Shadowlands, many iconic class-defining abilities will be shared by every specialization, such as Shaman's Healing Stream Totem and all of Rogue's poisons. Specializations will further empower abilities that match their theme, on top of getting some abilities of their own. We've also changed player character and NPC levels across the board as part of our streamlined, faster leveling experience. Characters that were once level 120 will become level 50, and the new maximum level in Shadowlands is 60. As part of that, health, resources such as mana, and damage have been reduced across the board, and everything's been scaled down roughly evenly. This should preserve your relative power while clearing both older and current content. And the overhauled level up experience will lower the amount of time it takes to reach max level. Also in the pre-expansion patch are our new character customization options. Now you'll have a wider variety of options to choose from to help make your character look the way you imagine them. For example, dwarves will have the option to add tattoos reminiscent of the Wildhammer tribe, and undead can change how much their bones are exposed to the world. You can access these either in the character creation screen when making a new character, or in the barber shop, where you can update the look or gender of your existing characters. We've also made some improvements to the in-game navigation system to help you keep your eyes on exploring the world rather than deciphering maps and mini-maps. The new UI will also indicate if your target is above or below you, so you know whether you need to climb a mountain or spelunk into a cave to reach your objective. In the coming weeks, you'll be called upon to defend Azeroth from an undead invasion as the Scourge sweep across the land. Players will embark on a quest to establish a foothold in Icecrown, where the barrier between Azeroth and the afterlife has been shattered, and prepare for the coming journey into the Shadowlands. This limited time event will only be available until Shadowlands is officially released, so make sure to log in to experience it and earn special rewards. When the pre-expansion patch goes live, a few features and rare items from Battle for Azeroth will become more difficult to obtain, or completely unobtainable, including the mighty Caravan Brutosaur and the uncorrupted Voidwing mounts. You'll also no longer be able to earn corrupted gear, and any current corrupted gear will be cleansed of its dark power, along with your legendary cloak's passive corruption mitigation. Be sure to check out our website for the full list of content going away at worldofwarcraft.com. Season 4 will also come to an end with the pre-expansion patch, so any rewards tied to it will be distributed shortly afterward. Make sure to finish your seasonal goals to reap the rewards while you can. Of course, this is just a prelude for everything coming in Shadowlands. Soon, you'll be exploring new zones that take you into different facets of Azeroth's afterlife, pledging your soul to one of 4 distinct covenants, exploring the twisting corridors of Torghast Tower of the Damned, and so much more. Check out our website at worldofwarcraft.com/Shadowlands for more details. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the Shadowlands.
That you will. That you will. Alrighty. So, one of the things I am most excited for that is one, don't know if you all caught that, but one of the things that I am super excited for is the fact that at the barbershop you will be able to change your gender to male or female whenever you so please. You no longer have to purchase a gender change from the shop ever again. Um, that I'm super excited for. The other thing is, and even though some of this is going to be based all on customizations, is one of the things I'm super excited for in the barbershop, or just in the character customization screen in general, is you are going to be able to, excuse me, have so much more customizations. Like, I don't know if you saw as far as the night elves, like the leaves in their hair. I know Torn, from when I was doing the PTR, get like a sunflower or flower in their hair. Um, you know, the dwarves with the tattoos, all, I shouldn't say all. Torrent, I think Torrens is another one of them. Orcs definitely are getting, you know, tattoos. Like, there's just so much more customization and things that you can do that you don't have to stick with the standard of, you know, and if you do, that's fine, but you don't have to go, it's like, well, I always make my characters look like this. You know, you have that range now. You don't have to worry about just having that bland character anymore. Um, and even though it's going to talk in this, is um, the corruption gear. I know a lot of people have farmed and did things to get that corruption gear, but the simple fact that it is going away pleases me so much, because I just hate the corruption stuff. Um, I'm sure I'm not the first that feels that way. Like, it just breaks the game. I have not gotten lucky. I've done the stuff. I've done the horrific visions, and not once have I gotten that Twilight Devastation or that um, Infinity Star ability. Like, I haven't gotten lucky to get those. The only corruption gear I got is either the Void Ritual or the like, increase your this secondary stat by this much based off of, you know, your gear. And as much as that's helpful, I don't. I would like to would have gotten other stuff, but that's okay. So we're gonna go through some of these. That was just some of the basics that I'm looking forward to. So we're gonna go through this. pre-expansion patch notes that they did. Uh, just going over as far as what you could expect game-wise that's going to change. Um, and as I said, I'm not going to be going over the characters this time around because there's just so much information. I'll show you briefly of what I mean because there's just so much to go over when it comes to classes. Like, the classes have to be a video on their own. So, starting here, uh, the Shadowlands pre-expansion patch arrives to the World of Warcraft October 13th, which is in fact Tuesday. So, as was in the video, Death's Rising limited time event, as you can see the Scourge here. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the Scourge Evasion 2.0. I know on the PTR they were testing this quite a bit. My wife and I, we were testing this when it was relatively new. We want to experience it. For a new character, it was absolutely horrible. If you did the island, which I'll show you here in a second. When you get off the island or you create a new character, whether it's an allied race, like I said, getting off the island, or you go through the zones and you have to go into Orgrimmar, Stormwind, depending on your faction allegiance, you couldn't complete anything. You couldn't do um, the quests that were there. Um, like if you had a quest to go into Orgrimmar to say, I know for the orcs, like to turn in meat, or to get food or turn in leather, whatever the case is, you couldn't complete it. You just got in, and as soon as you were on the ground level, you were attacked by these scourge that were like level 50. You could be level 10, and you just get one shot and turn into a scourge. And as much as I enjoyed it at first, I'm like, oh, this brings back memories because the nostalgia of going doing the invasion and then like fighting these scourge off for the Wrath of the Lich King. It was amazing. Um, but over time, when you just want to go and do stuff and get quests done, you could not do it in Orgrimmar. You had to avoid the major city as much as possible. So Blizzard took that and kind of, from my understanding, made it easier for people to go and do that. So when you created a allied race and you had to go in there and talk, or you got off the island and you had to do a couple more quests, like you get off the new island and you had a quest to go in to introduce yourself to the world, you couldn't complete it. So now Blizzard put in a thing, which I'm so thankful that they did this, is if you're fresh off the island or you made an allied race, you will not get attacked. Like, you are immune to this for, like, briefly. Like, to be able to complete, introduce yourself to the world, and tail your Heine out of that area so you do not get killed. Of course, now, honestly, once you get more into, I don't know what the timer is offhand, but once you get to that point, uh, you're not going to have to worry about dying right off the bat because you would have, at the point of returning, gained more power. So, so as it says here for the Death Rising, I'll scroll down here a little more so you can see it above my webcam. Shortly after the pre-expansion launch, you'll be called. So after the pre-expansion launch, so um, it sounds like this is going to be like wave 2. So you're going to get like to be able to create that foothold, and then once you create that foothold, then things will get out of the way. But it says shortly after the pre-expansion launch, you'll be called upon to defend Azeroth from an undead invasion. As the Scourge sweep across the land, players will embark on a quest to establish a foothold in Icecrown, where the barrier between Azeroth and the afterlife have been shattered, and prepare for the coming journey into the Shadowlands. The limited time pre-expansion event will only be available until the launch of Shadowlands, so make sure to log in to experience it and earn special rewards. Now, you'll be able to get certain gear. Just it's going to be probably from my understanding of it, you're going to be able to get gear the same way as you did for the pre-Legion launch, where you kill these things and then you got gear. You get cloth, leather, mail plate, and then it just shows up in your appearance thing. Sorry for that noise. The dryer just went off. Um, Along with that, I'm so glad that we're gonna put a foothold inside of in Ice Crown, um, because as we've all seen, I'm sure at this point have seen the trailer of Sylvanas going up to Bolvar, and they duke it out, and then you see Sylvanas just freaking going ham and ripping that portal open into the sky above Ice Crown. And if you have not seen that video, please go check it out. I'll make sure I put the video of that also in the description as well. So you can all watch that again. Watch it for the first time or for the fifth, 50th, however many times you've seen it already. It still brings shivers down my spine. But so happy with the whole going to Ice Crown, Citadel, re-seeing Bolvar, ex-Lich King at this point now. Um, and this I'm super excited for. It says levels and item stats adjusted. And as I explained in this video, characters that are level 20 will be synced down to level 50. So right there, excuse me, you're being dropped down to level 50. Previous content is being obviously shrunk down as well. So it's going to be a really weird, different feeling. I'm going to be creating characters just to experience the different leveling experience. I'm also going to try and do, I'm going to have videos coming out as far as which area I thought was the slowest for me to level in as far as getting to max level. Being like, from 10 to 20, it was faster in, say, Miss Pandaria than it was trying to do it in BFA. So doing just kind of things like that, and you'll be able to watch me do this live on my Twitch channel, which we'll also put in the description, twitch.tv / Balasar_4dragon. So I'm super excited for that 120 being dropped down to 50. Obviously, with that, as you saw, the damage, like, freaking was doing a whirlwind. I think I saw a 282. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I remember doing damage like that freaking back in, it wasn't Wrath. I think I was like back in Burning Crusade. Like, that was just mediocre damage. I'm back in Burning Crusade. I think you had to push like 1500 DPS in one of the raids, and if you didn't, you were like, slacking a little bit, at least in the guild I was in at the time. But that's just so low. But it's going to be just freaking amazing. And I'm seeing tanks in the game, like, with 64k health. And I'm just thinking, like, man, that's some item level squish, but to freaking, you have 282 damage, but a tank with freaking 64k health. I mean, they did a squish, but honestly, like, I would have hoped maybe for a little bit more of a squish, like maybe like, if we're looking at as far as almost like Burning Crusade, Wrath of Lich King DPS numbers, why not just take that a little further to where tanks have freaking like 30k health, and DPS like 15k, and that's like with gear. Um, that way the squish feels a little bit more, down. But that's just me. So yeah, super excited for that. So glad we needed a squish because these numbers were just getting ridiculous. I don't know if y'all remember Legion, but freaking in Legion, like what tanks had 10 million health, 15 million health, like and they might not have had 15. That's probably over exaggerated, but it was a lot of health. Like Jesus. Alrighty. New character customizations. As stated, like if you saw in the video, like the night elves, you can have leaves in their hair. You know, um, there's a thing, and it doesn't show in this video. See, orcs have the tattoo. I mean, that's freaking amazing. These are all like already, races in the game. Um, with the eyes, like you could change to where they have different eye colors. You don't need like not all blue. You could do the, you know, blue color here, blue color here. Um, and as it states down here, the the character creation experience has been revitalized with the brand new user interface, which is where you saw those drop downs. They're drop downs now. They're not slides or and I've been playing this game for so long, and I'm already losing my thought. But I mean, it's nothing. Oh, little pictures where you scroll, and it's like, okay, which one do I want? It's none of those now. It's amazing. And like here, it says some of the new options are selecting your eye color, new skin tones, hairstyles, hair, and fur colors. Like you'll be able, for those that like to play Worgans, you will be able to change your Worgen and the human version of the Worgen separately. They're no longer tied together. So if you liked how the male looked, but didn't like how the Worgen version of it looked, you could configure that separately. Um, all of these new options are available at the barbershop throughout Azeroth, include the option for druids to choose the appearance of their shape-shifting forms and the ability to swap genders. I have a druid. Granted, he is only like 430 something. I think it's like 431. But the simple fact is, like, and I remember watching a video. I think it was Bellular. He had a video where it was like, you know, I I could be, you could be, say, a resto druid. And it's like, okay, I need to go into bear form to reduce damage. You can customize to have the bear form of the artifact weapon for druids. Say you wanted their hidden appearance skin. Let's say you have that and you want to utilize that. You can now. You go to the barbershop, choose your druid, choose the bear form, and freaking choose that option. You got the staff from what is it? I believe it is Firelance, the staff that turns your cat form into a fire cat. You'd be able to choose that as a skin for your cat form, and that is permanent, like absolutely permanent. And you don't have to worry about the timer or anything like that. The same with, say you want to use the staff for the balance druids because it looks amazing. It's the staff of a loon, and you got the hidden appearance that you work so hard to get. Or say you want to use all the mage tower, appearances. You can. You're not limited to that only being that spec specific. It's across all specs now, which is fantastic. And I would like to see them take certain things one step further to where, like, the Ashbringer for Paladins, I would love to see on a warrior. And granted, for you that have gotten Ashbringer back in Classic, not retail, Classic is what I'm talking about. And you got Ashbringer through Naxxramas, and you can use it on your druid. Your warrior. That's fantastic. But I'm talking like taking the Ashbringer artifact weapon, the corrupted version from the Pallies, and putting it on the warrior. Just because to me, I think it would just be amazing. Or on a freaking Death Knight and freaking almost mirror Darien Mograine. Like, I think that would just be amazing. Uh, the new starting experience. So this is the island. So I did this on Alliance and Horde, and it is different. And there are certain aspects of it that are different than the other. And I'm so glad that they did this because it definitely shows the different uh, mindset of each side as far as like when it comes to inventions and uh, statements and whatnot. So the new starting experience is Exile's Reach. Exile's Reach is the new island that you will be able to uh, go on a fresh character. Now, when Blizzard first came out with this, and as I believe it says here, Exile's Reach is an all new starting experience that will take you on an excursion that will introduce you to the fundamentals of playing World of Warcraft and the important mechanics for your chosen class. If you're new to World of Warcraft and have never created or leveled a character, you will automatically begin your journey in Azeroth with the starting experience. If you're a veteran player and you've leveled a character before, you could choose to opt out of the starting experience and begin instead at level 1 in the starting area for your race. Upon reaching level 10, new players will continue their journey through battle for Azeroth into Shadowlands. Now, I experienced this on the PTR. I did not have any characters I have leveled on that PTR, obviously. It automatically started me on Exile's Reach. Once I completed Exile's Reach and I think I started as Druid because that's what I'm thinking I'm maining in Shadowlands. I did the Druid through, I believe it was a Tauren Druid, through Exile's Reach. Completely awesome. I'll go into that later. Uh, Once I did that, got out, got killed by a bunch of Scourge, I logged out, went and created an Alliance character to experience it on that. They really have made it to where you do it once to experience the island because they want everybody to experience the island. If you have not leveled one, that is. And once you have done that, I went to create a character. After I hit start, it asks me, do you want to go through Exile's Reach or do you want to go through your starting area? And it's like, Exile's Reach because it was fun. And I could see a lot of people, because you go through that zone so freaking quick that I could see so many people freaking just choosing Exile's Reach over and over. Excuse me, and over again. Because even though you go through like a few cutscenes, you can skip majority of those, and after you do that, you're done with it. And I think you go from 1 to 10 just like that. Like you could do it literally in probably like 30 minutes. And it it makes that if you are one of those where like, okay, I just want to get to 1 to 50 as fast as possible. Exile's Reach, I believe, is the experience to get to that as quickly as possible. Um, not dissing on any of the races starting experience and all that, but everything is kind of close together, quick and fast and easy to get to, and you're not having to run over here, run over there, run all the way to this freaking castle, run back. None of that. It's just quick and easy and straight to the point. Um, Now, the experience that I had, I think I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the Isle a lot more as the Alliance. Um, and the simple fact is because, and I don't know if I should say because I don't want to spoil too much for you if you guys want to experience it and see firsthand. I enjoyed the Alliance version a lot more. Um, when I was getting as far as to a certain point, and you'll see that once you experience it. But I would, to me, just my personal opinion, think everybody should experience this at least once. experience both sides of it, and then kind of delve your opinion. Which one do you think Blizzard did better at? And if you liked one side better than the other, you like both sides. Um, Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the Exiles Reach if you tested it as far as on the PTR. Alrighty. Uh, Time walking campaigns. So these are for ways to, instead of doing it the way that we have done it now, where you go through Eastern or Kalimdor, vice versa, to level 58, then go into Outlands, so on and so forth. Time walking campaigns are a way for you to choose which expansion you want to level in. This is a great way for saying, for me personally, like for certain characters, like I know I'll probably somewhere down the line give a Warlock a fair steady shot because I haven't after um, Wrath of the Lich King, but I'm taking them freaking through Legion. Like, just flat out going through Legion, getting that weapon, and doing parts of the story to where I can um, get the freaking mount. Like, that's my goal. So as it states here, players who have already experienced Battle of Azeroth and reached level 50 on at least one character can now choose to level any subsequent characters in a different expansion using time walking campaigns. This feature allows content from locations like Northrend or Pandaria to scale to a player's level so they can adventure from level 10 all the way to 50 and experience the stories of these areas at their originally intended pacing. So they've changed this a little bit. So I like that right away. You can do it from 10 to 50, experience it, and enjoy it. So if you're those that's like, well, I stopped playing after Wrath of Lich King, real life, or just didn't like how things were going. I never played through, say, Mists of Pandaria, but you want to experience it, you can now. You hit level 10, go talk to Chrome, you say, I want to do Mists of Pandaria, and you'll freaking do that starting right off the back. Um, Once you hit level 50, they came out and saying that you are going to be teleported out once you hit level 50. They they made it the capability of where you turn off your XP at level 49 and you could finish that entire expansion if you want to. So saying I want to experience all the content in the zones from 10 to 49 before I actually hit 50, because let's say freaking expansion doesn't come out in, say, December. If it doesn't come out, say, until December, like, enjoy that time to like level characters and experience those expansions to where you're not actually having to feel rushed. Now, obviously, you're going to want to get to where you can do the Scourge Invasion, get the gear from the Scourge Invasion, because obviously there's armor sets they showed, so I have a feeling it's going to be just like the Legion Invasion, where you got gear, it's better than the gear you have, and freaking be able to transmog into it. I'm looking forward to the Horde side because, by all means, Horde for life. I do the other side of the Alliance side just because, one, for the experience, two, there is a achievement for BFA where you experience both sides, you get a mount, and freaking I can't say no to that. I don't have the achievement now. It's something I'm still working on, but who knows when I actually get that and when that will happen. Alrighty. So, Newcomer Chat. This is a new feature. Um, Hold on, one. Mute tab. There we go. Okay. So this is a new feature. I'm recording this live as of right now. So go to, like I said, twitch.tv / Balazar underscore 4dragon and catch me doing videos like these live. So yeah, so Newcomer Chat, new thing for when new players get in. As it states here, after creating your character, beginning your journey in World of Warcraft for the first time, you'll enter the Newcomer Chat channel, where you can chat with other new players and experienced players on the same faction, who will be your guides as you level through the new starting zone, Exile's Reach. New players and guides will be able to recognize one another in the chat channels and with icons above their characters' heads that only they can see. Upon reaching level 20, new players will be prepared to continue their journey ahead on their own and will no longer have access to the Newcomer Chat. So this is freaking fantastic. I love the fact that they're rewarding veteran players, such as myself, that have played this game for so long. I think I could have sworn I thought I had the 3,000 quest achievement already, but I don't. Something I'm going to be working towards. Um, but I love the fact that they are doing this because I like helping new people. If you're new, hop on over to Area 52. My wife and I have a guild called the Muggle Struggle, and we like Harry Potter. We have a friend that's in the guild who is a big Harry Potter fan, and she absolutely loved that name. So we decided to go with that. Well, my wife picked the name out, and it actually rocked, so we decided to go with it. But we love helping new players out. This is a great way for us to help out new players as well. For any of us that have, the level 50, the 3,000 quests, obviously you got to have an account in good standings. You can't have any bad marks towards it. And you need at least two of the following achievements: Terrific Trio, Rival Battle for Azeroth Season 4, Battle for Azeroth Keystone Conquerors Season 4, The Waking Dream, or We Have the Technology. I can't remember what We Have the Technology. I think that's something you have to do in like Mechagon. The Waking Dream, you just got to defeat the last two bosses in the Nyalotha raid. Terrific Trio, 3 characters, max level. Uh, the rival one, and obviously the Keystone one, is the PvP and the PvE version of the season that's currently out until, of course, obviously the pre-patch hits, because as we saw, Season 4 is going away. Um, so I'm going to be striving for this so that way I can continue helping new people out. Feel free to message me. I'll have my character's name on Area 52 down below. If I remember how to do the alt combination, that is. But I'll put my freaking battle tag down there. Feel free to add me, ask me questions, and, be happy to help you out. And played I've played all the characters. I've never gotten to max level, but I have the basic of understanding to be able to help you and guide you through if you're interested in playing a certain class or a certain, um, uh, class race combination for the first time. Continuing on, got the achievements. So, flying in Warlords of Draenor and Legion will no longer require the achievement, the Pathfinder, and the Pathfinder Part 2. So, this is a huge relief. I never got those. I tried. I was never a grinder. Yes, I could have done it. It was easily to be obtained if I just stayed doing the content, doing my world quest, doing this and that, and I would have had it a long time ago. I am not that person. When it starts feeling like it's a chore or something I have to do, like, I just want to come in, play with friends, enjoy myself, not doing a bunch of dailies and whatnot, or world quests, whatever. So I I didn't get into that, and of course with real life jobs, and I freaking moved out to where I'm at now from Ohio like 3 years ago. There just was never time for me. So huge relief. So I will all be able to fly in Warlords of Draenor and Legion. Freaking amazing. However, you're still going to need to do the Pathfinder stuff for BFA. I would have thought they would have removed that as well in BFA since it requires Pathfinder, but they did not mention it here. Nor have I seen it in any other updates and whatnot as far as with this. Uh, Allied races. Allied races, you no longer need to reach Exalted Reputation with that race associated faction. Huge, huge for people that want allied races, for those that are grinding the reputation, for those trying to do the stuff. I give you briefly, so like the only ones that is still going to require doing exalted reputation, from what I heard, is Mechagon for those Mechanomes, because of how the story unwinds. The other one is going to be the Night Fallen, because for the Nightborn, in order to progress in that, um, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? In say in Suramar, you do still have to get exalted reputation, because it is all the, you reach a certain point in the quest where you need to hit a higher reputation with them to be able to continue. I say that because I went from beginning to almost to the end, getting revered, but I could not finish until I hit Exalted. And I had to talk to the guy. He was talking about being honored with the Night Fallen, and I could not continue until I hit that reputation. So that's still a requirement inside of the game, unfortunately. Auction house. Sold auctions will now show buyer or bidder playing names in a tooltip. Um, I'm not a big into the auction house, so I don't know how much of a big relief that is. So, um, so I guess that's kind of nice if you want to thank that person, as far as, hey, thanks for buying my thing. I thought they did that already, but it tells you how well I pay attention. Commodities, stackable items are now sold by selected stacks before other stacks from the inventory. This, I was noticing they were kind of doing that in BFA, where it mentions where your like when you put stuff on the thing, yours is going to be higher than the rest because of it's longer. The time for it to be able to sell is longer. Personal auctions can now be sorted by time remaining. Again, hit the arrow where the thing is. It should show you like what time's left. Click that little tab and you can sort them, but I guess that works too. The level range filter now also filters battle pets by level. Okay. The rune carving option for profession crafted armor pieces for legendaries has been added under each armory category. These materials are not yet available until Shadowlands. So that's a new feature that's coming into the what Shadowlands actually launches. We'll go over that more once the expansion actually releases, so I can actually show you what that looks like in game. Uh, Black market auction house. So this they got. I love seeing this. I love to go into the black market auction house and just seeing what was there. That's all I wanted to see. I just wanted to see and know what was there. Um, Max level is now required to access the black market auction house, which never used to be before, but it is now, so that's a little weird. The mighty caravan Brutosaur is no longer sold by vendors. It will now be occasionally available in the black market auction house. A lot of people are upset when they found the mighty caravan Brutosaur was going away. However, now that's going into the black market auction house, we might see it for less, more. Who knows? It's going to occasionally make its appearance. They could might as well just say, oh, it's going to stay the 5 million gold, but now you only see it available occasionally when it decides to be available. So not too much to really go into that. Like I said, glad that's coming back. I know a lot of people loved it. That's actually when I experienced the Brawler Scales for the first time. There was a ticket in there and I bought it and was able to do it because I wasn't getting lucky with the drop. Classes, like I said, I'm not going to go in depth with these because like I said, there's so many, and as I show you, like, look, like all that information just so much to go over and read. So that's why I'm saying they're all going to be their own video. But just to go over the general, so most non-periodic damage or healing abilities on all classes will have a 5% variance on each individual use. So kind of keeps with the balance. Powered Fortitude, Arcane Intellect, Battle shall give 5% of the respective stat. It was 10%. Again, any high, I think, and I understand why they did that, because they don't want the damage and all that to be ridiculous like it is now. They want to keep things where things can kind of stay relatively low, so they don't have to keep doing this kind of tuning like every, 2-3 expansions. Area targets spells can now be cast at the player's position using self-cast modifier keys. I do this already. I'll flat out tell you now, I do this already. But I play Death Knight, and I mainly play tanks. But I get into that group where I want a DPS. But I played a Blood Death Knight. I created the macro where I played it myself, so I don't have to cast it. Once I saw that, I think I saw the macro for it on Icy Veins, and it just saved a whole lot of time to where you could just go through your rotation, not worry about seeing the green circle, aiming it, and be done. Abilities like Mortal Strike or Wound Poison that reduce the healing received by the target have had their effects doubled against creatures. The value of these abilities remain the same against players. So like Warriors, Hunters, Monks, Mortal Wounds now reduces healing taken by 50%, 25 against players. Wound Poison now reduces the healing taken by 8 per stack, 4 against players. Warlock, Mortal Cleave, Legion Strike now reduces healing taken by 20, 10% against players. And many area effects abilities have had their damage to their maximum number of targets adjusted. See individual class sections for the list. So, area effects will now only hit a maximum of 5 mobs. So, when you're doing these mythic pluses and pulling these big groups of, say, 20 mobs, your AoEs aren't going to hit them all. I hate to tell you. They're only going to hit 5 targets only. And if you do pull more than that, there's probably a chance where it's like it's not going to hit the same target twice. So, almost done here. So, dungeons and raids. Mythic Keystone Dungeon affixes. So, we're going to have Bursting. This is it is now a dispellable magic debuff. It deals a flat amount of damage instead of percentage based off of max HP, which I'm sure is a relief to a lot of people. Volcanic players are now knocked into the air when they're hit. It now deals damage equal to 50% of the player's health. It was 40%. This was devastating in certain. If you had like bursting and volcanic, and I think I can't remember what the other one was. Was it Grievous? No, was it Grievous? It was. It was the one that, like, one mob dies next to another, their health increases, and it was it was absurd. Sanguine. Sanguine's duration is reduced to 20 seconds. It was 60. This is a huge relief. Sanguine is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Grievous non-periodic heals now remove 1 stack of Grievous, which is amazing. I believe Grievous is that stacking one where you saw the person's health goes. Grievous now deals a flat amount of damage instead of percentage based of the max HP. Again, it stacks, devastating, huge freaking hit. Because I believe it went based off of your missing. Like, if you were missing health, you started stacking Grievous. And the only time you didn't have Grievous is when you were healed to max health. So this is going to be a nice relief. and knowing that if it's stacking, heals are going to freaking remove a stack and no longer requires being at full health. But again, I have a feeling this is still going to be bad. Explosive. Explosive orbs now spawn 4 to 8 yards from the unit that summoned them was 3 yards. The explosive orb health has been reduced and no longer scales with keystone level. And the explosive orb now have a sound effect when they are defeated. So that's at least you get that little alert. It's like, oh good, someone destroyed that orb. Done. Uh, the other thing, glad it doesn't scale with the keystone. I think I saw the explosive orb once, and I just could see it just freaking not paying attention and just devastating to everybody. Alrighty. Almost done here. There's a lot of information with this, so I'm going to kind of just go over certain things briefly. Corrupted items. With the Black Empire turned to ash upon the defeat of N'Zoth, corruption effects on items will no longer function. We've been defeating N'Zoth. This is why they're taking away the corruption. It's because we defeated N'Zoth. The corruption on these pieces went away with them. Done. Again, super relief of this. I'm very curious to see how horrific visions are going to be. Because with his defeat, with no corruption, which means no resistance of the gear, I'm very, very curious. Because for those cloaks, is it still going to be the tick? Because I was going to test that out on the PTR and I never did. So if you have tested on the PTR with the corruption removing, had the cloak, did a horrific vision, let me know how that went. You know, was it easier? Was it harder without the corruption? Please let me know. Heart of Azeroth, the rank 4 essence are no longer obtainable. So that's probably going to be devastating for some. I'd like to see them have an achievement for those that did work hard to get those rank 4 essences. The Heart of Darkness Azeroth trait, there because corruption's gone away. This one no longer requires the 25 corruption levels for that to activate. So a lot of people that have this freaking just stack, and oh my god, it's going to be ridiculous. Memory of Lucid Dreams now affects mana for enhancement shamans, and it also affects holy power instead of now affects holy power instead of Shield of Righteousness for the protection pallies. The PvP talent granted with Conflict and Strife has been changed for the following classes. For Mistweavers, now learn Chrysalis, something like that, was Way of the Crane. Affliction Warlocks can now learn Rotten Decay. Restoration Dew is Reactive Resin, was Overgrowth. Discipline Priest, Purification. And for Mages, now learn Netherwind Armor, was Temporal Shield. Alrighty. All Legion legendary item bonuses no longer active. Makes sense because I'm honestly surprised that they still are. Leather working drums now provide 15% haste, was 25. War Scrolls, Battle Shout, Intellect Fortitude can no longer be used by characters above level 50. Many consumables now have a 5-minute cooldown, which that right there, many consumables now have a 5-minute cooldown. That is going to be a huge hit, depending on, like, if they're talking like your flasks and potions, all that. If you don't die, they normally last through death, so it makes sense. But if they're talking like potions and mana potions, that's going to hurt. Water now regenerates mana slower in the first seconds you begin drinking, increasing to a rapid return as you drink continuously. So kind of like that initial and then over time, you know, you become more hydrated. Reduce the amount of value that critical strike haste secondary stats provide when reaching high thresholds. That's huge. Like there should not. If you look at when you first hit 120 now, say at the certain point of gear to like going from like 3 to like say it's like 350 to freaking now 460, like just looking at that huge 100 item level difference is just drastic. Heirlooms no longer have experience bonus and now have a set bonus. The new set bonus can be obtained from all heirloom pieces except weapons and trinkets. I have all 6, so this kind of makes me very happy. Because now you don't have to worry about. I mean, the heirlooms now, yes, the heirlooms were just there for the XP bonus, but honestly, they gave you stats and all that. So honestly, to me, it was much more. I didn't have to worry about seeing if gear drops for these items. So that was kind of nice relief to me. 2 set rested experience consume is reduced by 30%. If you have 3 set, it increases your out of combat regeneration in outdoors, normal dungeons, and battlegrounds. So that's a nice relief. Gaining a level triggers a burst knowledge, dealing holy damage to nearby enemies and granting you 40% primary stat for 2 minutes. Defeating additional enemies extends this effect up to 2 additional minutes. Okay. I see an issue with this, and I'm going to tell you why. You are in a battleground, and you're getting beat, let's say, by a... Think of it like if you've ever played League of Legends. You go up, you get cocky, you get to a certain point, and somebody kills you. Now you just gave that person a 40% primary stat boost for 2 minutes. They go to somebody else. They defeat another character. Boom. There's another 2 minutes. That's 4 total minutes right now. They have that 40% primary stat boost. And every time they do that, they deal holy damage. Now I have to test this, and I will test it to find out to see if you do that holy damage burst, if that burst does go up with the 40% primary stat. But you do this in PvP, dominating team happens, all of a sudden that entire team has a 40% primary stat, which is huge in low level PvP, and are freaking going to dominate that entire battleground. And as there is now already in low level battlegrounds, people are going to rage. They're either going to rage quit, or they're just going to freaking rage and tell how horrible people are. This is not going to change. But in PvE, on the other hand, oh my gosh, it is going to make you kill things so fast that it's going to make Lovelade ridiculously quick with this. And you're not even going to notice. And this is my belief and expectation. You're not even going to notice that you don't no longer have that XP bonus that they give right now. Rested experience, this final set, rested experience consumed is reduced by additional 30%. That's 60% total of rested XP being consumed. So now you get to keep your rested XP for longer. If you're a panda, they already get that freaking increased rested XP when they're rested. Imagine playing a panda, you're going to level so quickly with this. So quickly, because you're not consuming as much and it's pushing it more back and back and back. Elixir of Ancient Knowledge. Elixir of the Rapid Mind and excess potion of the Accelerated Learner will become poor quality and no longer usable. Makes sense. You're going to level 50. I don't care about this because freaking, like I said, we're leveling to 50. Do you really need it to make it to where you level from 1 to 50 with like one kill? Or freaking like, oh, I'm going to go through this, I'm going to do 20 quests and I'm already level 50, even though that would never happen because you would actually have to do a little bit more than that. But you get my point. Like, we're already going to level fast enough as it is. So, I'm glad that they took that out. The Drought of 10 lands will still retain the 10% experience bonus, but will now be capped at level 50. So you still get that 10% from something else. So not a huge loss. They just removed the three others, so that way there's only one that gives the XP. Glyphs that change the appearance of a druid form are now one-time use and unlock the appearance permanently at the barbershop. This is a huge relief. You can get all. This is going to make the glyphs now for the druid forms freaking go up in price because all druids are going to want it. PvP weapon illusions can now be used by all characters across the account, and you can no longer champion a Missa Pandaria faction for bonus reputation. So for those that don't know what that is, the champion champion a Missa Pandaria faction is when you bring up the looking for dungeon, there is a star next to the Missa Pandaria faction, and you click on that, and that's champion. So anytime you did a dungeon, at the end of the dungeon, you get rep for that faction. So simple, easy, and usable. So we're almost done here. Pep Battles. Not going to go too deep into this. My wife does a lot of PvP battles. I'm sure this is going to make her happy. Flat damage taken modifiers now happen after multipliers such as shattered defense or pet species strength and weakness. Shattered defenses now increased damage taken by 50%, was 100%. Abilities that dealt damage twice per round had their total damage dealt increased by 25%. This is interesting because there's certain pets I noticed that when they deal damage multiple times, it isn't as powerful as just the one hit ability of that pet. And by that I mean, like, say you have the one of the birds, and they deal the feather where they do attack 1 to 2 times. If they attack first, they attack for additional time. Like, those dealt so much lower damage than, like, say, bite, which was once and was hard hitting. Like, I would have liked to actually see if you hit twice, being able to deal a little bit more damage there with the pet, because that's why it's there. Abilities that dealt damage 3 times per round had their second round damage increased by 66% and their final round damage increased by 133%. So that's kind of what I was talking about. Damage over time effects dealt by aquatic pets is increased by 25. Money Meteor and Twilight Meteorite damage reduced by 10%. Jar of Smelly Liquid cooldown was increased to 2 seconds. Righteous Inspiration starts on cooldown when a pet begins battle. And the follower pets have had their stats lowered. So some of these pets, like the Bog Hopper, Hermit Crab, Crypt Fiend, I think were just dealing so much damage that, like, you had these and you were golden. PvP, Battle for Azeroth Season 4 will end with the launch of the pre-patch. During the off-season, Mythic Keystone Dungeons will still be playable using Season 4 fixes and rewards, but their seasonal achievements will no longer be available. And the same goes for the PvP. You'll still be able to do the Season 4 rating, but the titles and associated stuff will no longer be there. All Gladiator mounts and titles, including those from previous seasons, can now be used by all characters on your account, which is awesome. I know Bajir made the comment saying when he got the Gladiator mount on one of the characters, on his warrior, now he'll be able to use that on all of his characters. That is such an amazing change right there. I'm so glad that Blizzard has done that. Gladiator's Medallion, Adaption, and Relentless have been removed from the Honor talents. The functionality of removing control impairing effects will be restored. It is a powerful PvP trinket option that can be purchased with Honor from Anika Melee in the Halls of Legends in Orgrimmar and the Champions Hall in Stormwind. Alrighty, and before I get to the user interface, I just kind of want to read these quick ones here. The Brawlers Guild is going to be temporarily closed because with us going into the pre-patch, it'll come back, I'm sure, during the expansion. So that's a relief right there. Wild, Wild Companion app, Legion missions and followers are now available. Characters can now be favorite in the character selection screen, and the latest Wild news is now available in the app. If you use the app, I know I occasionally do. I'm so glad that they have that because now we could just look at the news. Alright, user interface. So, a navigational marker will now appear on the screen to direct you to quest objectives, reducing the need to open and close the map. This is a great change. We saw it in that video. You'll see like a diamond on your, like a 3D diamond on your map to kind of help you with that navigation. I wish that was kind of in there sooner, but better late than never. Pins can now be placed on the world map by pressing Control left click at a target location. The map pin can be tracked with the navigational marker and shared in chat. Nice relief, so that way it's like, where are we going? And then you can just like pin and then be done. Druids are now able to customize their shapeshift forms. We talked about that with their artifact appearances. Campaign quests now have separate headers in the quest tracker. That's nice to see. There is now a collapse button for each section in the quest tracker. I'd have to look at this once it actually goes live to see what it's talking about by that, so that way you can kind of show that in action. Players' spells have been rearranged in the spellbook. Each class now has a tab that shows abilities that are available to all players of that class. So I tested this out. You now have 3 active tabs in your spellbook. You have the basic one that shows like your writing, your attack, your guild, bank, chest, and then you have the one that's available to all specs, and then just the spec specific tab. So this is kind of a nice change, so that way things are separated and easier on the eyes. Hovering over the resource bar will now show the tooltip at the cursor location. Using the self-cast key modifier on friendly target location spells now place it at your location. Like I said, I've always used the self-cast key. I think I started it back in Legion once I discovered it, and I thought it was absolutely amazing, and advise everybody to use it because it'll make your life 10 times easier. And if you want, as far as like a little guide and all that, as far as the how to do those, please let me know. Let's see here. You can now adjust key bindings when mousing over an action or micro menu button from the new quick keybind mode option in the keybind menu. Not a huge change, very minor at best, I think. Encounter abilities are now searchable in the Avengers Guide search field. That's great. I never really used the Adventure Guide. I think I used it once or twice when it first came out. Now I just go to it and be like, okay, I want to go to this raid for this expansion. That's all I really use it for. The item sets tab has been removed from the Adventure Guide. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, that was just something I saw in, like, just this recent. And I was like, oh, hey, there are sets that tell me what they do. And I felt so stupid for not discovering it sooner, but it was just like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Group leaders can now start a countdown timer using group manager tools or by typing /countdown10. Okay. They made this so you did not have to use deadly moss mods or big wigs, little wigs. If you download big wigs, little wigs, because they go hand in hand with each other, or deadly boss mods, just do /pull space and then the timer you want to set 10, 15, and it does it in seconds. Doing /pull was 10 times is 10 times faster to put in than doing /countdown 10. Just a personal opinion. Auction house and player mail notifications will now show on the character selection screen. So what this is basically saying is when you go to try to delete a character and it says you can't because you have mail. And you're like, no, I don't, but you still have stuff in your mailbox. What this does is when you're on that character selection screen where you're customizing the character and you have your list of characters right there, you'll see a mail icon to show you which characters have mail in them, waiting for you, or is sitting in there waiting. That is a huge change. I love that because, you know, when I try to sell things on the auction house, I'll be like, did my stuff sell? I wonder if it's sold. And I have to log into the character, wait for the downloading screen, check, and it's like, oh, hey, I got a mail icon right by my map. This makes it easier where you can just take a quick glance and know that you have mail. The UI scale setting has moved from the advanced section to the graphics section and system settings. I'm glad they decided to move that, but I use LVUI and Shadow and Light LVUI, and I don't even use the UI stuff on Blizzard just because that's my personal preference. New accessibility options are now available in interface settings, add-on motion sickness, added motion sickness options, added an override screen fade option that changes the color of full screen flashes to fade to black, added keybind camera, cursor control, and movement support for gamepad controllers, and cinematic subtitles are now defaulted. So I forgot about this. I forgot about the gamepad controllers. So there, I don't know if it's still there or not, but there is a add-on where you can put your abilities on a gamepad, a little thing, and then just use a controller to play WoW, and it worked flawlessly. Granted, I did it a little bit better in Final Fantasy XIV when I was playing it. But when I saw that add-on, I gave it a try. I think it came out, someone created it back in Legion, and it was awesome. It was just a little hard for me to do because I've been playing WoW since 2006, 2007, so a good 14 years with keyboard and mouse. I cannot play an MMO with a gamepad controller because it is just too rough. And cinematic subtitles are now defaulted to on. I'm so glad they did that because I got tired of like certain ones you think you hear one thing but they actually said something different. I'm so glad that's defaulted to on now. The ability to join a Battle.net group voice chat from the game client has been temporarily disabled. I never really used it, so I probably wouldn't notice it otherwise. The credit screen has been updated and redesigned for Shadowlands. So, glad for that. I'm super excited just to see the new freaking login screen for it. And just throwing this question out there, how many of you miss logging into the actual login screen so you could actually see the login launcher instead of being like start, it auto logs you in and you see it for maybe all of 5 seconds. Me personally, I kind of miss that, just that logging in part. just so I could just sit there, lay back, and just watch that login screen for like 5 minutes whenever a new expansion hit, just to hear the music and just to see the amazing background that they did, because Blizzard has fantastic designers. And that is everything. So, a lot of information here. Please let me know in the comments what you are excited most for the next expansion. I'd be excited to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions. Um, Me personally, like I said, I'm super excited, one, to be experiencing the Isle again, the Invasion 2.0, and all the customizations, let alone the class changes that are happening in the game and the item level squish and stat squish and not just all the numbers in general. So yeah, so let me know. Let me know also what you would like to see next. Next time that you see me record this, we'll be doing as far as the pre-patch hopping in, and be definitely starting with the druid. I kind of go into that a little bit more with the um, classes here as far as with the changes, so everybody knows what to expect if you decide to play druid and you haven't already. And just kind of going through the classes and just saying, doing things like, so you want to be insert class name here, and just kind of doing basic knowledge and understanding as far as the class, how it functions, abilities that work well together, and all that. But by all means, I'm not going to say this is definitely the spec to go to, because it's going to be the strongest against all the other specs that the hunter has. I'm not going to do that because I want you all to make the choice of what you want to play, what specs you want to play. I'm just going to be there just letting you know the abilities, what I think sounds amazing, and then you all just, make your opinions there. Um, so yeah, so let me know what you all think. Sorry for sounding all congested. I got something going on that I need to get my um, sinus or something, but it was fine earlier today. But anywho, so yeah, so let me know what you liked. Be sure to rate thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Keep going to continue try coming out with more of these videos. I have a Facebook page as well. I'll post that down. I'll put that link down there below as well. Got links on a lot of stuff I got to put in the description. So hopefully I remember. If you don't see something I say I put down there, please let me know and make sure I get it down there for y'all. And in the meantime, hope y'all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the rest of your night, and hope to see y'all next time on Twitch, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.